Hello, my name's Lucy Peel, and I'm going to be talking to you now about understanding supplementation. So I'm a naturopath and I've been in practice since 2010. I also have a master's in nutritional therapy and I practice in private clinic as a naturopath, but I also do work for a supplement company called Biomedica. And that is one of the reasons why I've been asked to give this talk today is the knowledge I have around supplements. I also have hypermobile health related issues myself, so this is very much an area of interest for me. So my disclosure is that I work for the supplement company Biomedica. So today I really want you to get your head around understanding supplements and using supplements that are really good quality, because actually the better quality supplement you use, the more effective it's likely to be. And that's really what the message is today, is helping you understand that. And, perhaps using one good quality product versus 10 products that maybe aren't particularly helping you very much. So we're going to think about it from the point of view of you buying these things off the shelf yourself, but also you'll be buying them through a practitioner as well. So just helping you understand how they're working and how they're practicing with you. So as practitioners, using supplements, it can be a big part or a small part of a bigger picture working with you in creating an outcome for you. And we will use them for supporting your digestive system, supporting the balance of your hormones, helping your immune system, helping to bring down inflammation, and also helping with severity of symptoms from particular health conditions. Now, this word supplement is very important to me because it's supplementary to everything that you're doing diet and lifestyle wise. And it's really easy now for you to buy supplements. You don't need to come and see someone like me. So you can walk into a supermarket and buy some vitamins there, or you can even buy some very, very highly therapeutic specialized formulas just off the internet. And this can be fraught with very different problems. First of all, if you're buying those really high quality products off the internet, there are some dangers around high dosing and maybe knocking your kind of nutrient balance out if you're not quite sure what you're doing. But also, if you're buying products off a shelf, perhaps in a supermarket, there might even be fillers in there, such as talcum powder. Do always read a label before you buy something. And if you're on medications, there might also be some contraindications or interactions with your medications. So, for example, if you're taking antibiotics, a lot of us when we're suggesting supplements, will say take it a couple of hours away from. But really, again, just back to this point, it's got to be in the bigger picture of your dietary needs and lifestyle choices before you start spending money on supplements. So there's two ways of using supplements, and it's really, again, quite important to get your head around this. One is that if somebody is deficient in something and their body needs repleting. So, for example, if somebody's got a very low vitamin D blood test result, there would be a dose suggested of vitamin D to bring that level back up until the body is repleted. Yeah, so there'll be retesting. And then the second way we use supplements, and what we're going to talk about today really, is using nutrients in what we call a therapeutic range. You'll understand that all in a bit. So that it's not that there's a deficiency, but you're using a nutrient for a clinical outcome. So, for example, better sleep or reduced pain. So the deficiency repletion model, I mentioned vitamin D. There's also iron is a big one, B12 and folic acid. And usually, generally, this has been picked up by your GP and you'd be prescribed something to restore those levels. So we're really going to talk about the use of nutrients within a therapeutic range. And as I've already said, with a clinical outcome in mind, such as helping you with sleep. So how do we make a decision what supplements to use? There's so many out there. Well, first of all, as practitioners, we look at the research. And again, you'll look at that with me in a minute. And we also work with different brands that we trust as practitioners. So very much we'll look at ones that have been clinically trialed. And I've just put an example here of ashwagandha KSM 66. And you'll see this as an ingredient in some products, and you'll notice it now. But you can also look that up online yourself, the KSM 66. You'll see that that's a research product. They've done clinical trials on it. And then supplement companies have gone, oh, that's a really interesting product and it's well researched. I'm going to put it in my blend because I want, a clinical outcome. We want our clients to feel better. But ultimately, what do we want you as our clients to achieve with a product? We're not just going to put things in for the sake of it, because we do respect that you have a financial outlay, and also that you've put your trust in us as practitioners to help you. So there's other things we have to consider. I mentioned this already, drug, herb, nutrient interactions we've got to be aware of. I've mentioned antibiotics already, but also we need to think about your pain medications, your mood medications. And a lot of this, we'll look at a product in a minute that has been trialed alongside pain medications, so we know it's safe to use. And the other big thing, particularly I would say in the area that we're talking about today, is that some products are going to take time to work, and it is quite often hard to kind of have the patience and keep going when you're in pain and you're feeling exhausted and a bit let down by things. Working with a practitioner, they're going to help you push through that as well. That's quite hard to do on your own, that side of things, I think. So generally, as practitioners, we'll use a lot of combination formulas because it covers a lot of bases and cuts that down on the number of pills that you're taking. And also, as I said, not only those ingredients might have been researched as individual ingredients, but they might have been researched to have a synergistic effect with each other. So the example I'm going to give here is quercetin, which is very good for histamine, which is better absorbed with oil. So, when one supplement, it's combined with nigella seed oil, and it's really effective for histamine related issues. And again, that's quite an interesting one. And I've seen that myself using different products with quercetin, not with an oil product. So we have different forms of supplements. We've got capsules, powders, liquids, chewable tablets, gummies, all sorts of things. All have different advantages, but I think for the purposes of today, I think if you are somebody who's very, very sensitive, very reactive, I would probably look at powders, because where it's really handy is if you're very, very hypersensitive, you could just try a third of a teaspoon of something for 3 days, see how you tolerate it and get on with it, and then build up to the therapeutic dose. But also you could even just have one sip, really dilute it and have a sip and see if your body can tolerate that. So other things to think about from a kind of good quality supplement is looking on their website, making sure that they've got good manufacturing practice. There's not genetically modified ingredients in there. Are the raw materials sustainable, particularly when you're working with herbs, things like that? You really want to look for products that have very few excipients in, so things that kind of bind them together. So I already mentioned talcum powder. Another one you want to avoid is titanium oxide. So get reading those labels. And as I've already mentioned, and I'll mention it again, have a look. Have they got ingredients in there that have been clinically trialed? So another good one I'm going to mention is curcumin C3 complex. You'll see it in a lot of supplements because it's really well trialed, so it's very effective. So that's why they use it. So have a look around. Any ingredient that's got that little R symbol at the end, be curious and look it up online and see what research is there around it. So do dig around yourself. A lot of brands, they'll have a quality check information on their website. Also ring them up and ask them as well, because there's a lot of marketing out there. There's a lot of lovely faces on Instagram saying, buy my product. Dig in and have a look, because you want to know what's inside the product, not who's endorsing it. It's really, really important, that, especially when you're spending your money. So let's move on to some supplements now. So I'm really just focusing on a few that I thought might be useful for you, and also that the practitioners that are watching that work with you with EDS. So we're going to look at vitamin C, magnesium, P, and if I've got time, eggshell membrane, CoQ10, and L-theanine. So vitamin C is a big one because it's really important to help us make our collagen, make our bone, and everything that holds us together, basically. Yeah. So again, I'm thinking about it for the tone of your vascular systems, your veins. You know, if you're somebody that's more prone to varicose veins, things like that, or a lot of bruising, vitamin C is a really useful thing to add in. And it also helps your body break down histamine. So again, might be quite interesting with some of you for various aspects of what's going on for you. And I've just had a look around at the studies for you about the bioavailability, and you'll see on some of these slides, there's some links below taking you to the research. And it's really interesting actually because vitamin C seems to be equally bioavailable to us, whether you're using natural or synthetic ascorbic acid. So again, that might cut down on cost. And it doesn't matter whether it's a tablet or solution, it's just absorbed in the equally well. What's interesting is that actually liposomal vitamin C is better absorbed, and that normally comes as a liquid. Magnesium has had a lot of press recently, particularly magnesium glycinate. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about two of these organic forms that are better absorbed by the body. One is magnesium citrate and one is magnesium glycinate. And you really want to be looking for those on a label, not other forms of magnesium at this stage, really. And just to explain, really, magnesium glycinate, you'll see it as magnesium bisglycinate on some labels, and it's two glycine molecules stuck together with a magnesium, yeah. And what the glycine is going to do, because it's an amino acid, it's going to help that magnesium be absorbed through the gut lining really nicely. And then the glycine is going to be a lovely calming amino acid for the brain as well. Hence why magnesium glycinate is always suggested for sleep and also really helpful with pain as well. And I've just made a note here that if you're looking at higher doses, I would probably steer more towards the glycinate rather than the citrate, because that can, cause loose stool. But the other way around, if you're quite constipated, the magnesium citrate at a high dose will help you with passing a movement. So yeah, works in two ways. And magnesium, just to remind you, it's really important for a lot of different things. So if we are low in magnesium, we're going to respond to stress poorly. And I know for a lot of you, stress response is a key issue. But also it's going to help us with our sleep. And as I've already mentioned, try the glycinate form. And it may help with pain management too. I've got some information on the next slide. And it also might help you with blood sugar control as well. So I'm going to leave you to look at the dosing in your own time, but just to quickly say, if you're doing this on your own, if you're looking at taking more than 300 milligrams a day, do work with a nutritional therapist on this, because you'll need to consider other nutritional balance issues. But basically, yeah, there's quite a broad spectrum of dosing for pain, for example. And again, you've got a link there for a very good paper there from the NMI. P, so this is palmitoyl ethanolamide, and called PEA for short. Now, don't mix this up with pea protein. It's something very, very different. It's actually a compound that's found in various foods, things like peas, tomatoes, and peanuts. And we do actually make it in our bodies to regulate pain and inflammation. So you can see why I'm talking about it today. It's cannabimimetic. So again, it's a good alternative if CBD is not working for you, or if you're not able to use that in your country. So yes, it's a very nice one to use for pain management for a couple of reasons. One is that it modulates mast cells, so it down-regulates the degranulation of mast cells. So mast cells carry around all that histamine, and it can go to areas and cause, inflammation and pain, like around a nerve, let's say. But it can also cause that allergy response that you might be getting. And it's also very good for pain sensitization. It's because it's anti-inflammatory, it reduces pain hypersensitivity. So quite a key thing perhaps to think about. There's a huge study, I've put the link below here, of over 600 people where they use pea at 600 milligrams twice a day. for 3 weeks, and then came down to a dose of 600 milligrams once a day and brought down pain scores. In this study, they were also using pain medications, so we know it's safe to use alongside your pain meds. And I'm going to leave you to look at these in your own time, just because I want to move through to a couple of other ingredients. So the next one I want to mention is eggshell membrane, which is literally the inner membrane that covers the shell of an egg. And if you think about that, it's got to hold an egg together. And so it's really good for everything that holds us together. Yeah. So it contains collagen, loads of different nutrients like glucosamine and keratin. And it's a really rich form of the collagen that's found in bone, and might help with cartilage damage and supporting bone. And also the hyaluronic acid, which I can't say, binds and retains water molecules. So that helps with skin hydration, joint viscosity. So there's lots of nice fluid around your joints, keeping them nice and not rubbing together, basically, and the elasticity. And it's anti-inflammatory as well. And again, with this one, I would say have a read of these dosages yourself. But really, when you're looking for clinically trial products, this underlined point at the bottom, you want to look. There's some that contain something called Ovomet eggshell membrane, and others that contain something called NEM, natural eggshell membrane. And those are both trialed eggshell membrane products that have been put into other people's formulas. But also where this is really nice is you don't need to mega dose this. The trials only go up to about 500 milligrams a day. So you don't need to double that up or anything. So CoQ10 is another interesting one to mention to you. It's really important for your energy, making mitochondria, important for mitochondria to make energy, and also as an antioxidant. And I want you to look for ubiquinol in the label. Be really careful with this one. There's a lot of marketing around this product, and you ring them up and ask them if it's ubiquinol. I've looked at a few websites, and sometimes they don't even sort of tell you. They don't tell you about the research. So have a look around, because it's an expensive ingredient and you want to be making sure you're spending your money well. And I've just put here, because you have to sometimes think laterally around your pain, but doses of 300 milligrams for pain in fibromyalgia has been seen to be quite effective. L-theanine is a lovely one for you to think about as well. It's actually in green tea, and it's been really well trialed for stress and anxiety and sleep, also ADHD as well. And just be aware that it might take about 30 minutes for it to work, and it's going to get the brain into its alpha brain waves, which are relaxing, but it also means that you are attentive as well. So it's not going to make you drowsy. And sorry, there's a lot of information on this slide, but I just pulled this from a study because, again, just using one thing might help with a lot of different things, such as bringing down inflammation, helping with sleep, helping cope with stress, helping your circadian rhythm, your sort of daily rhythm, and help with bladder hyperfunction. So various different things that might be going on for you with your clinical picture. And I've just pulled up a couple of studies here just to show you how we look at research. And I've pulled out a couple of lines, but this one just says L-theanine has got a great effect on mental alertness and attention. And this one just around the L-theanine, supporting the generation of alpha waves in the brain, inducing your relaxation without drowsiness, which I've mentioned already. So just to summarize, please don't ever be sucked in by marketing speak or promotion, particularly by celebrities for a product. Dig in, look at what's going on there, look for third-party test results, information of how they're regulating their products, look for the forms of supplements that are going to have the best benefit. And hopefully you understand what I mean by that now. The ones backed by research. We looked at curcumin, ashwagandha, and also eggshell membrane as examples of that. Taking one really good supplement is better than 10 substandard ones. Please don't go and spend lots and lots of money on cheap supplements. It's really not a good idea. If you can, do invest in a session with a professional who may be able to steer you in the right direction with regards to a program for you and your symptom picture at that time. And really, if you're in doubt about anything, just don't buy it. I've also put for you to look at later is the daily nutritional intakes and government recommendations, tolerable upper limits of supplements, and good manufacturing practice for manufacturers of food supplements. So thank you very much for listening and for your time.